Media 101 to fire coaches. Yeah. We're not going to fire a coach today. We're just going to bring in Shams Charania and Big Perk to break this down. And Shams, look, here's the deal with what's going on with the Knicks. There's no one arguing that they don't need to make some moves to bolster their roster in the offseason. So what are you hearing about what they might do?
Guys, I'm told the Knicks have internal meetings this week to evaluate everything from the roster, different changes they could make around everything, but especially the roster. The last year and a half is any indication, Knicks president Leon Rose has gone out and gotten OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns. I expect him to be just as aggressive this offseason, whether it's a landmark player that you could bring in there or definitely depth on that bench. Tom Thibodeau called it a very important offseason coming up, and this is a team that has won 50 games plus in consecutive seasons for the first time since the early 90s. 4 of his 5 seasons as head coach, they've made it to the playoffs, so it's been a successful run. Jalen Brunson, fully supportive. That front office is fully supportive of Tom Thibodeau as well, but I do expect them to be very active and aggressive on the roster.
All you got to go do is look at the film. The film don't lie, right? And you can watch that the Indiana Pacers were not only were they deeper, but they were more ready for the moment, physically and mentally, right? And it starts with your 2 franchise guys in Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. And I think this is an offseason of accountability for the Knicks, right? You want Jalen Brunson to be able to go out there and put in the hard work of being able to work on his lateral speed and drop a couple pounds so that he can get up and down the floor a little bit faster. Karl-Anthony Towns, got to lose 15 to 20 pounds, right? Got to work on his speed as well, his transition defense, his mentality. If I'm Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm embracing all the criticism that's coming my way this offseason. I want to hear the noise. I want it to motivate me because I want to come back next year a better player. And let me remind you that Karl-Anthony Towns still, as horrible as he was defensively, he still was averaging around 23, 24 points and 11, 12 rebounds in the series. So imagine what he could do when he's at his best in tip-top shape.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, a lot of things that New York has to work on this offseason. We'll see if they're able to do that. Perk, I'm going to show you something. Check this out. On the show, we've had rolling wheels
since 2012, and Suns leadership agreed on Ott after interviewing over 15 candidates for the job. And obviously, Ott and Johnny Bryant worked under Coach of the Year, Kenny Atkinson, this past season. The most interesting part, though, is really over the last 7 to 10 days. Devin Booker, the Suns franchise cornerstone, was involved late in this process for the hire, and I'm told Jordan Ott was his top choice as well. We know Devin Booker has had a ton of coaches over his 11 seasons in the NBA. 8 coaches to be exact, he's on now, and that partnership will be critical to the Suns' future between Devin Booker and Jordan Ott.
Interesting. So, Shams, as interesting to me as it is that Devin Booker was involved in choosing the next coach for the Phoenix Suns, it's equally as fascinating the name that you didn't mention, Kevin Durant. What does this signal for his future?
I think the conversations will now begin to pick up on potential trade of Kevin Durant out of Phoenix. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, conversations will begin to heat up. I'm told the Suns will work with Durant and his business partner, Rich Kleiman, on a trade home. There's expected to be a robust market for him. 4 to 6 teams seriously interested in Durant, potentially ahead of the NBA draft. But between now and that NBA draft later this month in June, there's going to be serious conversations about moving Kevin Durant, and still one of the great players in the NBA right now, an all-NBA caliber player, still at the prime stages really of his play in terms of as a scorer. So we'll see where Kevin Durant ends up this offseason.
Okay, so between now and the NBA draft, certainly something that we're going to be keeping an eye on, and I agree with you. As we have all these conversations, Shams, about who is a superstar in the league, Kevin Durant firmly solidified and still is one of those superstars. I want to bring it back here to set, though, for just a second. We're going to go back to you, Shams, in just a minute. Perk, hearing all of this, your reaction. Phoenix has hired a new coach, and it's Devin Booker.
Here we are again, y'all.
Okay.
Everybody going right, the Phoenix Suns going left. Here we are again. And I don't care if Devin Booker had anything to do with the hiring of the coach. Damn it, they need to blow it up. Not only trading KD, but trading Devin Booker. And this is going to tell me a lot about Devin Booker. Here's why. He has been activated. You know why? Because he's 28 going on 29. So that means you think Sinead Malik, he's what? He's just starting his prime. His prime has been activated. This team is not going nowhere. This team ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. They're not even going to be a top 6 seed in the West. I don't care who they trade for. Right now, and I'm just going off of right now. The Mavs, Lakers, Nuggets, OKC, Minnesota, that's 5. Houston, that's 6. And we can really keep going. So, Devin Booker, I don't want to ever get to the point where I look at him and call him a loser. But if he comes to a place where he's okay with being there and not leveling up to go to an organization where you actually can compete for a championship and you ready to just stay there, basically for another rebuild, I got a problem with that.
Whoa. I need you to clarify. Devin Booker and loser is
I did
not in this game.
I did not call. I said I don't want to go there. But I said, if you look at the direction that this organization is going in.
Well, maybe losing benefits them by picking a direction, right? But like, to me, I differ from you in that Devin Booker, you said he's 28 going on 29, who's still dropping 28 going on 29. Like, he's someone that no matter what happens is like a cornerstone that you can sort of build off of. My issue is that, like, it's the pick a direction. You are no longer in the middle right now. Like, you either are pursuing championships, which we found that they are not going to be in that class of, especially with KD leaving, and the restructuring, or you're going to actual restructure and rebuild.
But they don't control their picks. We have to remember they do not control their picks.
Yeah.
2032.
And one thing, and I get what you're saying, Perk, because it's so easy in this league to come in and just to fall into that trap of playing 82 games and not winning the championship and going into your summer. Before you know it, 5 seasons have gone by, you've done nothing. But Devin Booker has taken the first step, getting involved in the coaching search. Secondly, it doesn't matter who coached that team until you figure out what you're going to do with your players. Chemistry. You look at all those coaches that came before those guys. Those coaches are guys that have won in other situations. Why aren't they winning in Phoenix? Are we going to keep saying it's the coaches, or are we going to keep saying that you're not putting the right guys in the locker room? And that's where I go to. Are you going to put the right guys in the locker room? Because one thing about the NBA now today, it's so easy to go out and say, the coach ain't doing this, the coach ain't doing that. Are you putting the right pieces around to really compete for a championship? First and foremost, I don't think Phoenix had the right pieces to really say they were going to compete for a championship this year.
And that's because the game has changed. When you think about, like, the big threes trying to win, right? Like, that was a microwave version of trying to find success. The slow cooker we're watching in NBA Finals, where we see a slow cooker.
Right. The Knicks fired head coach Tom Thibodeau less than 2 weeks after leading New York to its first Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 25 years. I want to bring Shams back in here. How are the Knicks, Shams, approaching the search for their next head coach, and what direction do they want to take to move this team forward?
Malika, I'm told Knicks president Leon Rose is still going to take several days here to start that head coaching process. I expect it to be a methodical one, and several candidates potentially in the next few days that Leon Rose and that Knicks front office will turn to. But you think about the qualities that the Knicks have laid out. In their release, they talked about the singular focus on winning a championship and ascending to the next level. I'm told that the belief within the Knicks was they simply had reached a ceiling under Tom Thibodeau, that they felt he exhausted the most he could out of this team, and they want a championship caliber upgrade now. And so you think about coaches with title pedigree. You think about coaches that are adaptable, that are flexible as a head coach. And so what coach out there has all those qualities as far as having championship experience,